You are not stuck. If you don't like where you are, change it. Plain and simple, right? Get your mind out of the way. You can do anything you want. Think good thoughts and good things will come your way. Sounds simple, but it really is kind of simple. Just do. I'm Jan. This is 316 Yoga. This is your yoga from home. Every day our yoga is different. This is a 1-hour practice. Today's practice focuses on mobility and flexibility. Every day is different. Check us out every day because you'll learn something new. You'll do something different. And all of our practices are combined or work together to make you stronger, to make you more flexible, and to make you more mobile. All right, it's your body. As the bottom of our screen says, do what's right for it. If something hurts, don't do it. Back out of it. Let things go. Don't worry about things. Just, this is a little sacred space on your mat. Do the poses that feel good for you. Join us and just do what you can with what you got. And just don't hurt your body. We're real. We practice live from start to finish. No cuts, no outtakes, whatever. It's just like being in a real class. And that's what I really like. I wish we were in person. But this is the way it is, so this is good. You're doing it from home. That's a nice thing to do too, because you don't have to worry about how you're dressed, how you feel. If you need to take a break and go to the bathroom or go get some coffee or whatever, that's good too. All right, let's do this. Word to think about today is serve. Serve. What are we going to do? We're going to serve ourselves. To serve means to give service, right? To take care of, to render obedience, and do that to yourself. Give yourself time. I think a lot of times we think, oh, I got to give to others all the time, but you got to take care of yourself first and foremost, and that's what your yoga does. We're going to use some props along the way to make that happen. 2 yoga blocks, we always talk about those. Buy them, they're not expensive, and they usually come with a strap. You can use that too. These props are aids to help you along the way to make your yoga work for you, and that's what counts. You make the yoga work for you, not so much striving to be in a pose just because you got to be in a pose. No, you don't. You do what feels good. An eye shade, a hand towel are wonderful to have. Water too, have that. Come on, let's come on up to standing. Let's warm up. Okay, so we're going to take and lock a stress number into our mind. We always do this. Scale on 1 to 5, 1 to 10. What's going on? Remember that number, and let's work on bringing that stress number down. And just your feel-good number. All right, where are you aching today? What hurts? Low back, ankles, shoulders, I don't know. Just remember that number, give it a number, and let's take that confidence stance. I always like this one. Hips are feet are a little bit wider than hips. Hands to your hips. Have a chair nearby or a countertop, it's all good. Send your elbows back, chest is lifted. Just feel your chest lift here. Elbows down, just nice big chest. Think like a Superman stance. Take a big breath in through your nose and sigh out any doubt, any non-belief, any doubts in yourself. Just sigh it out, let it go. All right, so let's find our foundation. Your feet. Start to come up onto the balls of your feet. Lift and lower. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. All right, so this whole month, we've been talking about being kind to yourself. And I don't mean that to be woo-woo. It's, kindness. Just be gentle on yourself. You're gentle to other people. The person you should be kindest to is yourself. So we're focusing on kindness to ourselves. We're talking about listening to your body, what feels good. Maybe you stay up high on the balls of your feet. You do what feels good. You listen to your body. You trust yourself. You trust your intuition of what's going to work and what feels good for you, because you are your own best teacher. Focus on what feels good and what works for you. And this week, serve yourself first. Show up and take care of you. All right, I'm going to balance a little bit on the balls of my feet. Maybe a chair nearby is helping you. Totally good. I'm going to come down to my heels and lift my toes up and give them a wiggle. I'm going to plant my feet solidly because I am strong in my foundation. Take a big breath in. Big sigh and breath out. Feel your shoulders soften away from your ears. Lift your arms up to the sky. Reach through your fingers. Interlace your fingers. Send your palms up to the sky and start to move sideways. Little bit of good news. I'm excited. We don't advertise or anything on this Facebook thing. We're not, taking this super professional with editing and all that stuff. We're just real. But we have reached 555 subscribers on YouTube. So that makes me feel good. So if you're one of those subscribers, thank you very much. We appreciate your being here. All right, breathe. All right, so hello to Stan, Liz, Esther, Tammy, and Tyrone. How are you guys doing today? All right, how does this feel? Lateral flexion of your spine. Marietta, Kelly, Tina, Rena, Connell, Kristen, how are you? All right, sideways bends, let's finish up. Send your hands high to the sky. Maybe come back to your extended mountain. Maybe that feels good. Bring your arms on down, place them behind your low back, push your belly forward, squeeze your elbows towards your spine, lift and look up to the sky. Chest is lifted. Just move. Exhale, forward fold. Let your arms hang toward the earth. Little bend in your knees, try that. Look back to your knees or up toward your belly button. Fingers are close to the earth. Maybe they're not super close. I know some of you have said, oh, when I start, my fingers are probably 12 inches from the ground. But by the end of the practice, I can fold in half and I can touch the ground. That's a great thing. You can see the progress. Wiggle your knees a little bit. And you know, the beauty of movement doesn't take a whole lot. It just takes consistency. Show up and do it. All right, you fold it in half. Now send your arms to the sides of the room. Come on back up to an extended mountain stand. Take a big breath in. And a big sighing breath out. Let's take our arms and do some arm circles. So tee them out. Get into the shoulders. Shoulder mobility. I don't know if you've read much about frozen shoulder, but it's a real thing. I mean, you know, the mobility in your shoulders is so important. All right, you're drawing circles. Maybe they're getting a little bit bigger. Add in your knees. Don't let them just be. Go ahead and add some motion there. Maybe bend your knees and straighten them. See how far you can bend them. What feels good. So movement is what gets the synovial fluid moving in your body. Get the blood flowing. You know you need to do that. All right, take your arm circles in the other direction. Keep bending your knees. They don't have to be far. Just bend them a little bit. It's all good. And your arm circles don't have to be huge either. Breathe. All right? You know what seems insignificant, like, oh, just move my arms a little bit. What seems insignificant when you have it is really important when you don't. So keep moving. All right. Let's come up to standing. Shoulders back and down. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Okay, remember the cross body movements where we act like we're picking apples? Let's do that. So let your arm cross the midline of your body. Reach like you're reaching to pick an apple that's just a little too high, a little out of your reach. Then take it to the other side. Breathe. The arm that's extending, lift that foot up a little bit and come onto the ball of the foot. Cross the midline of the body and move. Good for your brain, too. And we know that our mind influences so much of what we do. Our self-doubt, it's in your head. Let it go. Cross-body movements. We did that on Friday when we did our Yoga Plus practice. We did it with weights. Oh my goodness. That's a fun day. All right, let's finish up with this apple picking. Come back to the midline of your body. Tee out your arms nice and big. Send the backs of your hands to the back of the room. Maybe close your eyes and just feel what you feel. That's important. As you exhale, let one arm cross the other. Give yourself a big hug. So one arm's on top of the other. Let your fingers work towards your spine. So fingers towards your spine. Then soften in your shoulders. And imagine your shoulders going to the side of the room. Breathe in, breathe out. Tee out your arms. Do it again with the opposite arm on top. Do you remember which one was on top? And then soften in your shoulders. Just a big hug. Breathe in. Breathe out. Arms down by your sides. Big coat swing. Just sway from side to side. Imagine you have a coat where the arms are way longer than your arms, and you're just swaying, letting that coat hit your hip, hit your backside. Just take this nice, big, controlled twist. As you exhale, maybe you can take the twist a little deeper, look over your shoulder. Or maybe a challenge for you is to close your eyes and imagine you're looking over your shoulder, but just keep your balance. Breathe. Nice big twist here. Enjoy it. Arms are loose, easy. Breathe. Maybe turn your neck a little bit more. And then let's finish. Slow it on down. And let's go into ragdoll pose. All right, your feet solidly planted, hinge forward. Remember how we did this before? And once your arms are reaching toward the earth, reach an arm toward an opposite elbow. Bend your knees. Look back to your knees or your belly button.
Think of the elongation of your spine here. Your head is heavy. It's kind of pulling your spine down toward the earth. Tailbone is high to the sky. Wiggle your knees a little bit. Feel what you feel here. Maybe you want to widen your feet a little bit more to make room for your belly. That's fine. Breathe in. Breathe out. Send your gaze back up towards your belly button so the crown of your head is really toward the earth. And then start to turn or to move one elbow toward the knee, then the other elbow toward the other knee. So you're just swaying gently here. All right, doesn't matter how it looks. What matters is how it feels. How does it feel in your low back? Enjoy the little twist. Enjoy the swaying. Think of your low back as decompressing. Let it feel great. Finish up, come back to stillness at the midline of your body. Now maybe give your toes a little wiggle with your eyes open or closed. Release your hands to the mat, bend your knees. There, you've warmed up. Maybe that's all that you have time for today, and that's fine. Just be consistent, just show up. All right, so I'm gonna come into a child's pose. All right, this is where you get into your head or get out of your head. It's where you just let everything go and just enjoy this sacred time on your mat. You can use a block or not. Knees can be together, big toes touch, hips back to your heels, head down to the block if you like. Arms can be down by your sides. Imagine your shoulders really away from your ears, your fingertips reaching more toward the bottom of your mat. Here's child's pose in its classic variation with your head on the block. You could remove the block and bring your forehead down to the earth. You could take a wide-legged child's pose, knees spread wide if you like. You can stay in the classic if you want. Hips back towards your heels. Arms reach long to the top of your mat. Head comes down to either your block or to the mat. If you're in the extended child's pose, widen your fingers. Act as if you're sliding your fingers more toward the top of your mat as you're trying to elongate and make your mat longer. Tailbone to the back of the room, crown of the head to the front. Take a deep breath in through your nose and a big sighing breath out through your mouth. Let it go. Let it feel great. Really focus on deep breaths today. Full breaths in and full breaths out. When you're ready, if you'd like, try this on for size. Close your lips and breathe in and out of your nose only. As you inhale, feel the broadening of your back, of your shoulders. As you exhale, feel the surrender into the earth. Feel your navel going back towards your spine as maybe your chest melts a little bit more toward the earth. Breathe in, breathe out. This is your child's pose. Great for your knees, great for your ankles, great for your quads, great for your spine, and good for your mind. Let all thoughts go. Turn your head a little bit. Massage your forehead into your mat. Turn your head left to right. Nothing else matters but this moment, right here, right now, and what you're feeling in your body. Bring your head back to the midline of your body. Push your mat a little further away if you're in the extended child's pose. Reach your fingers a little longer to the back of the mat if you're in a classic child's pose. Take a breath and feel what you feel. Now you can come back to this pose. You can, anytime you want, you can stay in this pose if you want, if it's feeling super great. I'm going to push on up to a puppy pose. All right, for that, keep your forearms down on the mat. Bring your knees a little more together or wider apart, depending upon where you are. Descend your bottom more up toward the sky. Think of your chest melting down toward the earth. Maybe take a block and put it there for your chest to rest on. So think of the block as bringing the ground up to you. Tailbone is up to the sky, kind of like when you're doing cow pose, which we'll do in just a moment. Tailbone up to the sky, stretch, reach through your fingers, press your forearms into your mat. Let the chest melt closer to the earth. You know, if you have a full block, maybe you transfer to a half-size block, or maybe no block at all. Let your chest come down toward the earth. Breathe in, breathe out. And then let's come out of the puppy pose. Let's come into a neutral tabletop. All right, so in your neutral tabletop, knees under your hips, wrists under your shoulders, push the tops of your feet and your hands into your mat, lengthen through your spine, feel as if your spine is nice and long and straight. Take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Cat-cow pose. Work the spine. Tuck your chin to your chest, tuck your tailbone under, arch your back up to the sky, hollow out your belly, push into the earth. In this pose, don't you feel like, oh, I wish I could push just a little bit more? It feels so good. Inhale, cow pose, just the opposite. Remember how your bottom felt, your tailbone felt in that puppy pose? Same thing. Send your tailbone up to the sky. Send the crown of your head up to the sky. So you're moving your neck quite a bit. Chin to your chest. Exhale, tailbone under. Inhale, crown of your head lifts. Chin goes to the front of the room. There's your cow pose. So do it again. Cat-cow to your pace. But the big thing is do it with your breath. Exhale, cat. It'll just feel natural as you hollow out your belly. Inhale, cow. There you go. And you know, it doesn't matter how slow you go. You know that. I say that a lot. Doesn't matter how slow you go. It doesn't matter how the pose looks. It matters how it feels and that you're just here. You're just doing. All right, there's your cat-cow. Think of just getting the spine nice and limber. All right, let's finish up. Let's get back into our foundation. Let's do a toes pose. So tuck your toes towards your shins. You can use a block or have both blocks nearby. You can have a seat on your block if you want. Toes are drawn towards your shins. This is an intense pose. All right, but it's so good because think about it. Feet are your foundation. You want to keep your feet flexible and mobile, and what a better way than to move them a lot, right? So have a seat back on your heels, either on the block or no block at all. Make it work. There's so many different ways to do this. You can hinge forward if it becomes painful, because you don't want anything to hurt. Uncomfortable, that's okay. But if it's painful, come out of it. All right, so have a seat maybe, let all 10 toes enjoy the nice deep stretch. I'm going to extend my arms forward, like I'm ready to do the Macarena, right? Extend both arms forward. Flip your palms up. Take one hand and bend the 4 fingers of the other hand back, back, back. So like a tennis stretch here. So drawing, you know, like your fingernails towards the back of your elbow. Pull it back, all 4 fingers. Feel the nice big stretch in the front of your forearm. And don't forget your thumb. Now take it and pull it back. That feels a little awkward and not particularly comfortable, but just pull it back. Give it some movement. All right, let's switch to the other arm. Pull the 4 fingers back on the other hand. Just feel the stretch in the front of the forearm. Relax in your bottom. Relax in your toes. Pull those fingers back. Pull the thumb back. And let's go back to the first hand. All right, so palms face up. You're going to bend each individual finger back. Bend the pinky back. Just take a moment. How far can you reasonably do it? Then the ring finger. And work your way up each finger. And just feel how it feels a little different in the forearm depending upon the finger you're doing. Body's an amazing thing, isn't it? And thumb, don't forget it. Pull it on back. Let's go to the other side. Pull the pinky finger back. Then the next one, work your way up. Work your way all the way until you get to your thumb. Take your time and really, truly feel what you feel in your hand, in your forearms, in your fingers. Nice. Now wiggle them out. Interlace your fingers, turn them to the side, and then do a sideways number 8, like an infinity sign. So move your wrists. Squeeze your fingers too. Squeeze them tightly. And as you're ready, let's finish up. Did it get your mind off of your toes? I hope it did. All right, let's come out of toes pose. Let's come into an ankle pose. Come on. Before you do that, come to a neutral tabletop. Lift your feet up. Squeeze and scrunch your toes. Get the cramps out. Circle your ankles. Tap the tops of your feet out on your mat. Place your feet stationary on your mat and have a seat back onto your heels. So the tops of your feet are on your mat now. Maybe use the blocks to bring the ground up to you and lean on back into an ankle pose. Sometimes we flow through this, we'll be in toes pose for a breath or two, and then come back to ankle pose and just move fluidly through it. Today, we're just taking our time a little bit longer in each pose. Push into the earth, push into your block. Maybe you want to challenge your balance a little bit, and you remove the blocks. Bring your hands to prayer center if you like. Maybe try to close your eyes. Keep your knees together. Find your balance. Closing the eyes makes a big difference, doesn't it? Just try. And you could also have your hands behind you like a little kickstand. But feel what you feel. Feel what you feel in your ankles. And if it's painful, don't do it. If it's just uncomfortable, play with it a little bit. Maybe lean back a little more or not. You're your own best teacher. Don't do a pose just for the sake of doing a pose. Do what feels good. Do what feels right. Maybe you're back doing cat-cow. That's fine. All right, so there's your ankle pose. We did a nice long toes pose and a nice long ankle pose. Just send your breath to your ankles. Just free them of the tension. Foot mobility is so important. All right, let's come out of this pose now. Bring your knees gently on down. Come back to a neutral tabletop. Same little thing, lift your feet up. Circle the ankles this way and that. Tap the tops of your feet out on your mat. Let's get into a bird dog pose. All right, so bird dog, good for balancing. Now you could take your block and place it at the top if you want to use that for balance. Maybe place it nice and high at the top of your mat. Lift your right leg up. Bring your right knee to hip height. Feel what you feel here. Dial your right hip down so the hips are equidistant to the mat, and then extend your right leg long. Draw your heel to the back of the room. Really a long, straight leg here. Add in the left arm if you like. Push the earth away. That's a big part of it. You really got to feel the strength in the push of the earth. Lift your left arm. Send it forward. Maybe find your block for balance. And think like a bird dog pointing. You're looking down at your right finger. Hold it here. Now let's draw elbow to knee under the belly button or close to it. You don't have to touch. Just send them so they're imagining that they're touching. And then reach. Elbow to knee or close to it, and then reach. Let's do it maybe 5 times, all right? That's about 3 times. And don't skimp on the extension. Really reach. Tuck and extend. We'll finish. Hand comes down, knee comes down. When you're ready, other side, same thing. Left knee lifts, knee to about hip height, left leg extends. Hold it right here. Maybe that's what you decide to do today. Dial the left hip down. Maybe reach the right arm to the front of your mat. All valuable. It's all great. Your body's loving it. Tuck your toes towards your shin. Pull. Push into the earth. Lengthen. Tuck, elbow to knee, or close to it. Maybe a few times. I'm going to go for 5. You go for what is right for you. Lengthen, 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 and strengthen your spine. And when you're ready, we'll finish up, hand to the mat, knee to the mat. How did that feel? Let's spread our knees wide, wide-legged child's pose, hips back to your heels, arms reach long to the top of your mat. Sink your chest down. Maybe you notice now, hey, I can get my chest more comfortably, more easily to the ground. Breathe in, breathe out. When you're ready, let's come out of this and let's go into plank. All right, plank, probably one of the best poses you can do for overall body strengthening. And remember, lots of ways to do it. If you're new to planking, lie down on your back, take your blocks, send them up to the earth, and think that you're in a plank position. Now you can also be on your knees. Spread your knees a little wider in your shins too. Hands are on your mat, hinge your weight forward. Push more weight into your hands. Feel the strength here. Strengthen your arms so you're getting stronger. Stick with it. Maybe you send your legs a little bit longer and your hands a little more forward and push into the earth. Put a towel under your knees if that feels good. Maybe you tuck your toes towards your shins. Maybe you drop to your forearms.
Maybe you send your tailbone up to the sky, hold it here. Maybe you send your legs long and press on up to a dolphin plank. Or maybe you take a high plank. That's what I'll do today. You take the variation that works for you. They're all good. We're going to set the 1-minute timer so you can time yourself in your plank. And it's just for you to have a little measure of your progress. And you will progress over time. I'm going to come into a high plank. Let's do that now. Let's set our timer and let's go for a minute. All right, so here we go. My feet are hip width distance apart. My hands are shoulder width distance apart. Fingers spread wide. Here's another little tip. All right, we're over 10 seconds in. You got it. Press into your thumb and your pointer finger a little bit. Gecko, like suction cup your fingers a little bit into the mat. Hold here, stay strong, engage your core. We're 20 seconds in. Crown of the head lengthens to the top of your mat, tailbone to the back. Stay in your plank position as long as it's comfortable for you. And you know what you could also do is take little breaks. We are halfway there, maybe 30 seconds is what you want to do today. Take a little break. Drop to your knees, or another way to take a break from high plank is to send your hips high and come into a downward facing dog. Push the earth away. Nice and hard. We've got 10 seconds to go. We can do anything for 10 seconds. Breathe, lengthen, stay strong, push the earth away. Hold on, you got it. 3, 2, 1, and done. Come on down. Have a seat on your heels. That alone has a name. It's a thunderbolt pose. So sit on your heels, however long you did. Great. Measure your progress. Have fun with it. I'm gonna take a drink. All right, how do you feel? I think plank just kind of energizes you, doesn't it? No matter what variation you're in, if you're lying on your back, pushing the blocks up to the sky, it's a step. It's a step in the right direction. Taking care of you, putting yourself first. All right, let's come on down. Let's do our usual little core poses. You can have your strap if you want to use it for boat pose. All right, here's the deal. Soles of your feet on your mat. Hands together in gratitude. Lengthen up through your spine, soften in the shoulders, lengthen up through your spine, and then exhale as you slowly recline. And take it slowly. Take it slowly. And then when you get really almost to the ground, try to avoid the clunk at the end. Hold on, your core is strong. You got it. Recline all the way. Bend your knees and then open up your knees. Send the soles of your feet together to touch. Bring your fingertips lightly to your temples. Elbows open wide, chest up toward the sky. You can close your eyes, and we're going to do Supta Baddha Konasana sit-ups. As you exhale, lift the shoulders up. Keep the elbows open. Inhale, down, recline. Exhale, up, and then recline. You exhale to come up, and you breathe in to come down. So little lifts, little lowers. Maybe today you're not getting very far. That's A-okay. Lift and lower. Keep your elbows open wide and your knees open wide. Breathe. All right, let's come on down. Shoulders are down. Elbows are down on the earth. Maybe you stay right here. I'm going to do bicycle next, and there's lots of ways to do your bicycle. Maybe you draw your knees together. Soles of your feet are now on your mat. And maybe you lift the shoulders on up, keeping the elbows open wide. Draw one elbow in the direction of one knee, then the other elbow in the direction of the other knee. Maybe that's how you'd like to do your bicycle today. Another variation, lie down, shoulders are down, lift your knees on up so your knees are over your hips and your shins are parallel to the sky. You can ride a recumbent bicycle. Keep your hands where they are. Draw your toes towards your shins and pedal through your heels. Find that movement in those hip flexors. We're going to do a lunge in a little bit too to strengthen and lengthen them. All right, maybe you add it all together. Peel your shoulders up, elbow toward opposite knee as you pedal. Maybe straighten your legs and scissor kick them. So many ways to do bicycle. On Friday, we'll do a Pilates bicycle too. That's fun. All right. When you're ready, we will finish and send your legs long on your mat, arms high overhead. Take that stick pose. Palms touch, thumbs cross. Reach your fingers more to the top of your room. Point your toes to the bottom of the room. Stretch it out in your stick pose. You look like a big number one, and that's who should be your number one, is you. It's not arrogant, it's not selfish, it's self-care. All right, bring your arms on down. You can do bicycle or boat pose now. Now you could use your strap. If you want to do that, grab it, place it underneath the soles of your feet, and when you're ready, send your feet high up to the sky. Hold on to the strap like reins of a horse, and then let your heels be heavy as they float on down. And you float on up in the chest. Come on up, lift on up, send your chest to the sky. Elbows hugged in, hold here, lean back like you're in a recliner. If you don't have a strap, find your balance. If you don't have a strap, you can have your hands behind your knees and send one leg or the other leg long. Maybe a bend in your knees feels good. Just try to find that little fun spot of balance. Lean back, and then your shoulders, pay attention to them. Don't roll them in. Lift your chest. Think of a string at your sternum, kind of pulling you up to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Hold here, find your balance, stay strong. And if you're using that strap, play with it a little bit more. If you have your hands behind your knees, maybe you release them. Hold it here, breathe, stay strong. Your core is strong. You got it. There's your boat pose. We'll do boat a lot tomorrow. Let's bring our soles of our feet down. Hug your heels in. We won't do boat a lot. We'll just do a different variation of it. Bring your forearms around your shins. Draw your belly toward. Bring your toward. Maybe pop on up to your toes, or bring the weight out of your feet completely and hold. Another challenge, circle your ankles. Plant your feet. All right, crisscross at the ankles. Let's come into a downward facing dog. All right, so crisscross at the ankles, plant your hands on your mat, and send your hips high to the sky. Downward facing dog. I hope it feels good for you. You're going to press into your hands. Hands are shoulder width distance apart. You're looking back to your feet. Your feet are hip width distance apart. Elevate your heels slightly. Shake your neck a little bit because you don't want to hold any tension in your neck. Let your head be loose. Push into your hands, fingers spread wide, gecko fingers. Heels are slightly lifted. Start to pedal them out. One down toward the earth, then the other. And then move your hips too. Find some fluidity and movement here. Now still your feet. Drive your heels toward the earth. Widen your stance a little bit more. Drive your heels closer to the earth. Maybe walk your hands a wee bit closer to your body as you work to get your heels down on the earth. Breathe in, breathe out. Walk your feet back in a little bit more. Then walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. There's your downward facing dog. As you walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands, you're folded in half. Put a little bend in your knees. Think of your chest coming to your belly. Take your hands, hold on to your calves, reach behind your calves, hold on to them, elbows hugged in. Fold in half a little bit more. Inhale, let your arms sweep on up. Come on up to a standing position. All right, let's do You Will Look Taller. Think that old YMCA song. If you know the song, you're in the right place. We're the same age. All right, bring your legs together to touch. Bring your body into the shape of the letter Y. Arms are lifted. Press the backs of your hands to the back of your room. Think You Will Look Taller, the first letter of each word. Big letter Y. Press the backs of your hands to the back of the room. That's the biggest thing. You could do it up against a wall too. Now bring your elbows down. Create a W shape and just feel what you feel all up and down your spine. Feel how good it feels in the upper back. Bring your arms into the two-letter L shapes, one forward, one back. Hug the elbows in. You will look, tee out the arms for taller. Pulse the hands to the back of the room. Let's do it again. You will look, T for taller, pulse. You know how to do this comfortably now. Don't even think about it. Bring your arms into the letter Y. Press the backs of the hands to the back of the room. Big letter W. Elbows are down. Hands open wide. Squeeze in your upper back. Two L's. Forward and back. T for taller. Pulse it out. Let it feel good. Now get everything out of your head. Close your eyes, float your arms down by your sides. Feel what you feel in your spine. Shoulders are back over your hips. You are tall, your posture is good. None of this forward-leaning, rolled shoulders in business. No, we have good posture. Shoulders back, take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out, let it go. All right, blink your eyes open. Hands to prayer center. Good posture just feels so good. And it makes you look younger, makes you feel better, and it's just aligning everything in your body for your organs to function better. You know, when one thing's out of alignment, everything else gets out of alignment. Sometimes if you have pain in your knee, it's not really the knee. Maybe it's coming from the ankle. Maybe if you have pain in the hip, it's really not coming from the hip. It's coming from the knee or the ankle. Everything's connected, right? Move it to make it function. All right, hands are at prayer center. Lengthen up. Exhale, soften up and root into the earth. Tree pose, any way you like it. How do you like your tree? All right, I'm going to root into my right leg. I'm going to lift my left leg, open it up to the side of the room. You can have a chair nearby if you want. Kickstand the toes like a Barbie doll if you want. Bring the sole of the foot into the inside of the foundational leg's shin. You can bring it up higher if you like. Just don't put it on your knee. Push the foot into the leg, leg into the foot. Draw the outside of the bent knee more to the back of the room. Find your foundation. Hips are equidistant to the front of the room. Hands can be on your hips. That's a fine tree. Maybe one arm lifts to the sky. Maybe both arms lift to the sky. And here's a tip. Look to where the ceiling and the wall meet. You don't need to look at the TV. Look to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Focus inward on you. Sway your branches if you like. Wiggle your fingers too. We don't usually do that, but it's different. Challenge your mind. Maybe the branches cross overhead. That's fine too. Maybe, here's a big one, you try to take a long blink. Try that on for size. Breathe. All right, hands back to prayer center. Guide the knee to the front of the room. That's an important step. Place the left foot down next to the right. You got another chance to succeed and excel. Root into your left leg. Open up the right leg to the side of your room. Barbie doll foot, kickstand it, bring it up to the calf, bring it up higher, but just skip over the knee. Push the foot into the leg, leg into the foot. Outside of the knee that's bent goes more to the back of the room. Check out your hips. Maybe hold on to your hips. Have them equidistant to the front of your room, as are your shoulders, equidistant to the front of the room. What's your arm variation today? You decide what you want to do. Maybe you got cactus arms. Maybe you grow both branches. Maybe you only grow one. It's all good. Try it on for size. You're challenging yourself. That's the only person you need to challenge. Look up, ceiling and wall. Where do they meet? How are your branches? How do you want to wiggle them? How do you want to move them? Maybe the eyes. Whoo, this is the hard one. Maybe you close them for a second or two. Maybe you decide to hold on to the chair to do that. It's all good, but just try. Hands back to prayer center. Guide the knee to the front of the room. Plant the left foot and right foot together. All right, toppling tree. Big step forward with your right leg. Find your balance here. Little bit of give in your right leg. Don't lock out your knee. Let it be flexible. Your back foot. Maybe it lifts a little bit off the back of the mat. Maybe you hold on to a chair. I'm going to take my hands. I'm going to reach around behind me, interlace my fingers. My thumb is now pressing at my low back. I'm going to open up my chest a little bit more. I'm going to send my left leg up higher to the sky. I'm going to work my interlaced fingers away from my low back. Hinge forward, fold forward, send your arms high, breathe. Let your left foot meet the right. Keep your arms where they are, but come to stand up straight. Send your shoulders back over your hips. Work your fingers down, down, down toward the earth. Chest is open. You are strong and tall. Good posture. What's a better angle? I guess right there. All right, now let's step forward with our left foot. Same thing, other side. A little give in your left knee. Right leg lifts. Hinge forward. Hinge forward. Remember, that back leg can be a kickstand. No big deal. Softness in your standing knee. Work your fingers away from your back. Lift the right leg up. Look down to your toes. Oh my goodness, do they ever wiggle, wiggle, wiggle to keep balance? Breathe. Finish. Right foot meets left. Stand up nice and straight. Work your interlaced fingers down toward the earth. Lengthen, strengthen. You're tall. Stand here. Send your shoulders back. Oh, chest is open. I love it. All right, release your hands from behind your low back. Extended mountain arms. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Hands to prayer center. Take a big step forward with your right foot. Bend your knees, both of them. Come on down to that back knee. Find your 2 blocks. Lunge time. Press into your blocks. Left leg goes long. Maybe fold your mat over a couple times if it feels uncomfortable on your back left knee, or put a towel underneath it. Props. Use them. Right knee over right ankle. Press into your blocks, send your left leg long. Feel lengthening in the front of your left hip. I don't know how deep you want to take this. You take it to what feels right for you. I'm going to press into the blocks. I'm going to bring my shoulders over my hips. Maybe that doesn't feel right for you. Some days it doesn't feel right for me. No big deal. Nobody's keeping score. You shouldn't either. All right, I'm going to bring my hands back down to the mat. Maybe that feels good. Stay there if that's what works today. And every day is different. Shoulders over your hips. We're our own worst critics, aren't we? Interlace your fingers. Send your interlaced hands onto your right thigh and then push your right thigh forward. Let the knee come forward to the ankle. Just push on it here. Now you can be doing this or you can have your hands on your blocks. It's all good. I'm going to try to feel greater length in my left hip flexor, the front of my left hip. Breathe in, breathe out. Maybe close your eyes. Focus on that feeling. Find your balance. Time to finish. I'm going to bring my hands back to the blocks. I'm going to straighten my right leg as I bring my bottom back toward my left heel. I'm going to keep my hands on my blocks and keep the blocks here. I'm going to bring my hips back as far as is comfortable. Then I'm going to come out of it. I'm going to switch my legs. Knees meet, left leg comes forward, left knee over left ankle, pressing into the blocks, sending the right leg long. As long as feels good. Maybe press the shoulders on up. Breathe in, breathe out. Don't stress over it. Interlaced fingers maybe go on top of the thigh as you work the knee more forward. You know, just soften. Even your glutes, think of them being soft. Just breathe. Shoulders are away from your ears, no stress. This is supposed to feel good and feel right for you. Breathe in, breathe out. Let it go. Hands back to the blocks, a little bit of surfing here. Just straighten the left leg, keep the blocks where they are, hands on it. Bring your bottom back toward your heel. And then finish. Nice little static stretch there in our lunge. Bring both knees to meet on your mat. Place your hands behind your low back. Remember how we did that baby back bend? Same thing here. Squeeze your elbows toward the back of the room, toward your spine. Look up to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Maybe look right above as if a raindrop were going to hit you right between the eyes. Press the tops of your feet into your mat. Keep your hips pushed forward. Little baby camel. Breathe. Chest is open. Doesn't that feel nice? Exhale, have a seat on your heels. Nice stretch in the knees, nice stretch in the quads. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Bring your hands down to your mat. Come on down to your belly. Send your knees back just like you came into a plank position. Send the weight more forward into your arms. Hold it here for a second and then bend your elbows slowly. Keep them hugged in. Come on down nice and slowly to your belly. Once you're on your belly, let's do a cobra pose. Zip up your legs, press the tops of your feet into your mat, hands are underneath your collarbones, hug your elbows in towards your side. Inhale, exhale. On your next inhale, let your chest float on up, gaze down your nose, press the tops of your feet into your mat, feel the compression in your low back. Maybe pop your fingers up to, pop up onto your fingertips, or not, maybe keep your hands down. Breathe in. Breathe out, slowly lower in your cobra pose. When you're ready, bend the elbows, straighten the elbows, send them nice and straight. Come into your seal pose. Soften in your glutes. Breathe in, breathe out, let it go. Come on down to a seated position. Find your 2 blocks. In your seated position, let's do that seated forward fold. Have your blocks nearby. Legs are long and straight and together. Toes up toward the sky. A little bend in your knees. Might feel good. I don't know. You decide. Shoulders are over your hips. Lengthen up through your arms. Stretch it out here. Exhale. Hollow out your belly. Reach your arms forward. Reach, reach, reach. Gaze forward. Now look down to your knees. Maybe capture your calves, your feet. Elbows hugged in, fold forward. Slowly come on up, shoulders over your hips. Crisscross the ankles. Let your arms lift again to the sky. Let your arms reach again forward as you're exhaling. Let your gaze go towards your knees. Hands capture your calves. Breathe. Come on up, shoulders over your hips. Uncross your legs. Bring the other leg on top. Arms lift. Arms reach. Exhale. Capture your calves, your legs. Fold forward. Inhale, shoulders over your hips. Both heels down on the ground. Legs are long, just the way we started. Let's do it again. Arms lift. Exhale, arms reach. Draw your toes up toward the sky. Reach your hands down to whatever you can capture. Elbows hugged in, fold forward towards both knees. Inhale, take a big breath. Don't sweat it. Exhale, fold forward. Think of your spine lengthening. It's just like when we do that forward fold, like when we warmed up, but we're seated now. Toes are drawn towards your shins. Imagine like you're standing on the ground. You're holding on to your calves. You're folding forward. Inhale, your belly's going to push against your thighs. Everybody's does. Exhale, fold forward a little bit more. Inhale, come on back up. Shoulders over your hips. Find your 2 blocks between your legs. Open your legs good and wide. Let it feel right. Maybe wiggle your bottom. Find your sits bones, those bones in your bottom. You can feel them. Draw your toes up toward the sky. 2 blocks in between your legs. Play with the height of the blocks, whatever works for you. And then hinge forward. Place your forearms on the blocks. Toes up toward the sky. Feel the nice big stretch in your adductor muscles, the ones inside your thighs. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Forearms onto the block. Whatever height works. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how high you've got it. Maybe you got 3 blocks. Maybe it's your chin you're putting here. Doesn't matter. You want to feel a nice stretch in your inner thighs. Maybe you bring your forehead down to the block. Maybe you like having your hands on your ankles, on your calves. Maybe you like to work your arms forward with no blocks. What gives you a good stretch in your adductor muscles? You know your body. It's the only one you got. Learn about it. Breathe. Breathe in, breathe out, and give it what feels right for it. All right. Maybe you'd like to stay there longer. I think that pose feels really great. But I'm going to come out of it now. I'm going to bring my legs together at the midline of my body. Eye shade and towel, bring them on up by your shoulders. All right, let's come on down. Recline here. Take it nice and slowly. Let's do a reclined pigeon. All right, so tomorrow we'll do a full half pigeon pose in our vinyasa practice. Here's an alternative that you can always take whenever the half pigeon pose is called for. Bend your knees. I'm going to bend my right leg and bring the outside of my right ankle up on top of my left leg. So my outside of my right ankle is kind of on my thigh, right above my left knee. I'm going to push my inner right thigh open. There's a figure 4 here in the legs. It kind of looks like the number 4, right? I'm going to lift my left foot up, drawing my left knee, which is holding on to that right ankle. I'm going to pull it toward my chest. Oh my goodness, I feel it in my backside. Hands. Interlaced hands can go behind the hamstring of the left leg, right above the back of the left knee. Rebend the knee, hug the knee in, shoulders are soft, nice big stretch here. An option would be to use a towel to make the hands longer. So your arms longer, so you could be pulling on that towel. I'm going to interlace my fingers underneath the front of my left knee, right high on the shin, and pull it in. I'm going to draw my right toes toward my right shin. Then I'm going to move my right foot a little farther to the left side of the room. I'm going to plant my left foot and plant the right foot and do the same thing on the other side. I'll do it with a towel to show you what I mean. All right, bend the left knee outside of the left ankle on top of the right leg. Just push that inner left thigh open. Maybe you stay right here. Give yourself permission to stay right here. I'm going to lift my right leg up, and that's an intense change. And just draw the knee toward the chest. I can feel it in my backside, especially on my left glute muscles. Maybe take the towel behind the right knee, hug it in, rebend the knee, soften in the shoulders, or maybe you've got interlaced fingers there. Another option would be to take that towel, bring it underneath the right knee, high on the shin, hug the elbows in and pull even more. Draw the left toes towards your left shin. Feel what you feel, tight squeeze, make it work for you. Then move the entire left foot a little bit to the right. Just feel those different muscles in your backside. Plant your right foot, plant your left foot, bridge pose, arms down by your sides, hips go high. Wiggle your shoulders closer to your spine, press your hips even higher, strong legs. Roll your spine down, one vertebra at a time. Left leg goes long. Supine twist, left leg long on your mat, calf on the mat, toes drawn toward the shin. Bend your right knee, interlaced fingers, or you'd use that towel again. Go under the right knee, hug it in good and tight. Let it feel good in the hips. We did a lot in the hips, that static stretch in your lunge. We did a lot in the hips. You got hip mobility going on now. Left hand guides the right knee across the midline of your body. Right arm tees out, right shoulder stays down. Look to the right as you enjoy this big twist. We warmed up with that big coat swing. This is a little more intense. Let it feel good. Right hip down, hug the right knee in, circle the right ankle this way and that. Right leg goes long on your mat. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Right leg is long, calf on the mat, toes to the shin. Left heel drags on up, bend the knee, interlaced fingers, hug under the knee. Maybe this is a big deal today, and that's good. Maybe you haven't been able to do it before. Maybe you use the towel to hug the knee in, and that is where you stay. Awesome. It's progress. All progress is progress. All progress is good. Circle your ankle of the left leg this way and that. Keep your shoulders down. Right hand guides the left knee across the midline as you roll onto the right hip. Even let that feel good. Encourage the knee down. Tee out the left arm. Look to the left. Left hip comes back to the earth. Your gaze goes back up. Hug the left knee in again. Left leg goes long on your mat. Both knees, bend them. Drag your heels slowly up towards your bottom. Send your legs up to the sky. Open up your legs into like the shape of a letter V. Remember we did that wide-legged forward fold with the blocks between our legs? Now we're going to use gravity. So the pinky toes are working toward the earth. Hands to your inner thighs. Just open them up a little bit. Then back up to the sky. Knees together. Bend your knees, soles of the feet down, legs go long on your mat. Final Shavasana time. Don't run out. Do this pose. A lot of people, not a lot, some people leave in a class at this point. Don't do it. This is perhaps the most important pose of the practice. Heels to the edges of your mat, pinky toes open wide. Cover your eyes with your eye shade or your towel, arms down by your sides. You decide, do you like palms up to externally rotate your shoulders a little bit? If you're doing that, wiggle your shoulders a little bit closer to your spine. Perhaps today you need to feel more grounded. Bring your palms down. You know what you need. Listen to what you need. All right, in your final Shavasana pose, it's where the mind records what you did in the last hour. It's where you realize, I can do it. I am my own best teacher. It's where you realize, I am not stuck. I can change, and I'm changing for the better. Think those good thoughts, and those good things will happen, and this is where it happens. Deep breath in. Maybe a big sigh and breath out. Imagine your body is heavy, from your shoulders and your arms, all the way down through your softened glutes and your legs. Soften the area between your eyebrows. Sigh it all out. Big, fuller exhales then inhales. Let it go. What are you holding on to that you need to let go of? Soften in your face a little bit more, from your eyebrows to your jaws, your cheeks, your ears. Deep, deep breath in. Feel your belly just fill up as it goes up toward the sky. And a big slow breath out, maybe letting it go out your mouth. Fuller deep breath. You can go. Let more air out. Imagine it as your stress leaving your body, that which doesn't serve you. You can be a new creation. You just gotta try. All right, maybe you have your remote control nearby and you want to stay in your final Shavasana pose longer, so hit your pause button. If it's time for you to conclude this hour, start to wiggle your fingers and toes and just enjoy this moment here, wiggling the fingers and the toes. Think back to when we did that tennis arm stretch and toes pose. You have new movement in your fingers and toes. Move the motion up to your wrists and your ankles. Think of that ankle pose and the mobility that it gave you. Inhale, arms reach high overhead. Take a big good morning stretch. Point your toes a little more. Feel the length in your hip flexors. Reach through your fingers a little bit more. Feel the mobility in your shoulders thanks to those big arm circles and that big hug you gave yourself. And when you're ready, just soften. Exhale, bend your elbows and your knees. Roll onto one side or the other. Use your low arms bicep as a pillow for your head. Let your head really rest on that arm. Soften the top shoulder too. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Every breath is numbered. Make it count. Another big cycle of breath. And just be aware. Do you want to open your eyes or keep them closed? Do you want to use your hands or not? But press on up to a comfortable seated position. And what is comfortable for you today? Bring your hands to prayer center. Feel the warmth in your hands. Press your thumbs into your chest. Bring your shoulders over your hips. Tuck your chin slightly to your chest and even your ears. Bring them back more over your softened shoulders. Sit up nice and straight. Take a deep breath in and a shoulder softening breath out. Gently blink your eyes open. You did it. That's an hour. That's an hour of yoga. You did it for you, and that is the best thing ever. Now that you've taken care of you, then you can take care of others. You can't take care of others if you don't take care of yourself first. Why is that so hard to just get into our heads? We always want to give, give, give. We're good people. We just want to give. But you got to give to yourself so you can help others. And remember, you're not stuck. If you don't like where you are, change it. And your yoga's a great place to start. From us to you, stress number. What was it? And now what is it? That's testimony of itself, right? All right, think of those things. Focus on the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness to you, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Practice that self-control. Show up on your mats tomorrow. Love you guys. Everything is good. Much love. Bye. Hi. How are you? You're a good girl. See you next time. So here's the challenge this week. clear the lens. What do you need to see more clearly? You know, change that monologue in your head. Make it a positive monologue. Think of those mantras. I am strong. I am powerful. Think about those things. Focus on what is good. Focus on what is good in you and your yoga. And tell your friends about what's good in your yoga. Tell them to join us. It's free for anybody and everybody every single day of the week. They can join us live. They can catch a recording, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. You know, share it. If you'd like to support our broadcast, you can visit our website. It's www.316yoga.com. See you on your mats tomorrow.